Have you ever thought to yourself, I'd really like to light my bookcase, but I don't know how to solder and I'm not good with electricity, so you're very nervous about trying it? Well, I'm the same way and I did it, and I'm going to show you how I did it so you can too.
Welcome back, sir. All systems for gaming will be prepared in a few minutes. For now, feel free to grab a cup of coffee and have a good day.
Hey everyone, Mike here. Welcome back to the Marvel Man Cave. Today's project is a continuation of my previous video where I built the Billy bookcase. And if you watch that one and you watch it at the end of this video, you're going to see a little bit of a surprise, and I'm not going to reveal it quite yet. If you are kind of like me, I don't have a soldering gun or anything like that. I'm curious about it, but this isn't a project that I wanted to really learn on. And I don't have the ability to hardwire LED lights into the room that I'm in, but I wanted to light my Billy bookcases. Today I'm going to show you how I did it. No soldering required. I use a product called HitLights, which are not a sponsor. It's just something that I've been using for well over probably 7-8 years now, and doesn't require any soldering. Each strip is about 12 inches long, so you can get 24 inches depending on how big a bookcase you want to light. It's very easy to connect. It's super simple. An idiot like me can do it, so I know you can too. So let's get started with how I did it. Here are the tools I'm going to be using for this project today. So obviously I have the lighting channels for my LED light strips. I use these HitLights. I actually have these elsewhere in the house, and they turn out really good, and they already come in 12-inch cuts. So I'm using these for my lighting. And then I have the extenders that will help bridge the gap between shelves. Obviously a drill, 3/4 inch Forstner bit, and 3/4 inch grommets just to hide the hole. And then a Philips Hue smart plug, so I can basically connect the lights and have them turn on and turn off as I want on a program, or just use my phone to light them up. A couple things I've already done is I went ahead and measured the length of aluminum channel that I want for each strip, so I can get about 3 pieces. And for the shelf, I need a total of 8, so I'm cutting one more. It's either 8 or 7. I haven't decided if I want to. This bottom shelf is so shallow I can't fit any movies on it, so I don't know if I'm going to light it, but I'm going to cut 9 pieces anyway because that's what the 3 aluminum channels are going to give me. So I'm going to go ahead and have it. So I've already done the measurements there to get everything kind of ready. And one trick that I've done before, because I'm going to just cut these on my miter saw, is obviously I'm going to tape them as you saw on the Billy bookcase thing, but I'm also going to put in um, the I guess the fusion channel into it and then cut it all at once, because that way I don't have to cut twice and I know I got everything all at once. So the next part of this is I'm going to go ahead and make my cuts. I'm going to cut the aluminum channels into pieces, and then after that it's just going to really be drilling holes in the back of here where I want to feed each of the lights into, and then sticking the aluminum channel to the bottom of the shelves. Let's go ahead and get this part done. I decided to cut this on my table saw because I have a little bit finer blade. This is how the first cut went. Pretty good. A little bit off, but it's not something you're ever really going to see. That is all my pieces cut to length. So now I have all 9 ready to go and be mounted. This is the part where I have to make a decision, because obviously the lights are coming in from the bottom because that's where the plug is. It's closer to the bottom. I have to decide on whether or not I want to cut the first holes at the very bottom shelf, or if I want to cut them a shelf up and bring them up in that way. I honestly haven't really decided yet, so I'm going to put the shelves in and see how it looks. All right, so I'm going to put all the shelves in here just to kind of get an idea of where they're going to go and what they're going to look like. Of question I'm having is whether or not I want to start the lights at this very bottom shelf. Like I said, it's too short. It doesn't actually fit any movies. I mean, there'll be something on there, but I don't know what that's going to be. And I guess the question is, do I want to light that? Because it's so far at the bottom and the shelf is so close to it. I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to see anything that's in there. So my inclination is to not start with this shelf, but then start with this one. So start drilling the holes in the back for here to make room for that. So I think that's what I'm going to do because I can always change it up. Right now I just need to drill the holes. I know where all the pieces are going, so I just need to use the Forstner bit to drill the holes to start wiring everything up. Now it just so happened I already had a 3/4 inch Forstner bit. I had never used it. It's still been in the case. I think I got this at the flea market. Obviously I don't want to drill into my carpet here. So I have this block that I'm actually going to be using as my guide to make sure all the lights line up in the same area. So I'm just going to use this on the back as kind of underneath each of the sections I am drilling, because it doesn't really matter if this gets a little bit damaged. I'm drilling 2 holes on each shelf. So each shelf gets 2 holes, 1 entrance, 1 exit, however you want to do it. And I'm trying to drill it as close to the corner as I can. So just want to show you how the first 2 came out. Obviously I have that piece back behind it to keep it from going. Obviously I need to put that out a little bit, but not too bad. So yeah, now it's just really drilling the rest of them in more or less the same spot. So that's what's next. All the holes drilled. They're ready for their entry and exit. And you know what? That's a lie. I forgot to do the very top one. So let me correct that. And now we have completed. So we have all the holes drilled. Now I'm ready to start with putting the aluminum channels onto the shelves. I'm going to do those when they're not in the bookcase itself, just to make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to show you how to use the setup block to make sure I'm kind of getting everything in about the same spot. And I'm also going to use just double-sided tape to connect the lights to the top, because I'd be curious on how you feel. Let me know how you feel in the comments. But when it comes to stuff like this, I always kind of go in the mindset that I'm going to want to change it someday, and I don't want to drill and then be stuck with where they are, at least with the double-sided tape. And I have some pretty good double-sided tape. It's really thin, and it'll be enough for the lights so it can hold. But then if I want to change it, if I want to move it later, if I want to move the lights forward in the bookcase or back in the bookcase, it still leaves me the flexibility to do that. Whereas if I put a screw hole in it, yeah, I'm probably never going to see it, but I'm one of those people, I'm always going to know it's there. So I'd really just rather make it a more temporary solution, so to speak. I have my, I guess my guide. So I've already cut this to where it is half the size of the shelf itself. I want to put each light basically in the dead center of the shelf. I thought about doing a little bit in the back or a little bit in the front, but I think I'm just going to do the middle for now. Like I said, I'm using double-sided tape. I wish I could link to what this is. If someone has a double-sided tape that they really recommend, please leave so in the comments. My plan with this is I'm going to measure the midpoint of each of the shelves, and I already have that measurement somewhere. I think it's like 7 1/8. So I'm gonna measure the midpoint, and the HitLights already have the center marker because they're 12 inches long. They have the center marker. So I'm gonna put each of the HitLights into the aluminum channel, and then I'm just gonna use that center marker to line up the center of each one. 7 1/8 is the midpoint for where I want to start all the shelves. So I want to get it in the center, front and back, but I also want to get in the center to the middle as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the 7 1/8 on all the shelves. Not exactly in the midpoint of the shelf. I just kind of want to get a good idea. So we're just going to put a dot 7 1/8 all the way down. This is what I mean with the HitLights. So these are 12 inches long, and it basically shows you the midpoint right there. So you can see where the middle of this strip is. I'm not going to adhere it into here. I'm basically just going to use the same strip. But when I get this, and I get this guide kind of lined up with where the back of this is, about as close to the middle as I think I'm gonna get. If it's a little bit off, these aren't really intended to be seen. So I want to mark each side to kind of give an idea on where I should be placing the channel, and be somewhat judicious with the use of tape. No, non-judicious. Frugal. Let's go with frugal. I don't know about you, but the pain of double-sided tape has always been getting the backing off for me. I feel like this is what fingernails were made for. All right, after way too long that I didn't want to make you watch on camera, I'm ready to go. I have this backing piece lined up. I know where the ends need to go. Just going to line one end up and then stick it down. And then that's it. Looks like it's level. Maybe not. You'll let me know if it's level in the comments, right? I think it's level enough. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is level. Might not be perfect, but that's all right too. None of us are. So I have that. So now I'm just going to do the same thing on the rest of them, and then it'll be ready to install the lights, start wiring it up, and then putting it on the shelf. Now that all the aluminum channels are adhered to the respective shelves, and I went ahead and did the two fixed ones, the top and the middle. Now all that's left is I'm going to put the HitLights in all the channels and then start to get them ready for connection. We're just going to adhere all the lights in, and we'll start getting everything wired up to feed it through the back. I bought the, I don't know how you say that, Hue brand. I'll put a link to the ones that I bought in the description below, but they do come with the extra pieces as well. And just to give you an idea why I bought these, let me find the originals. I know I'm just going to need a little bit more space. So these basically will double the length. I can connect these two pieces together as I'm trying to feed it up the bookcase. And that'll just make it a lot easier for me to reach the spots I need to reach. I'm going to use these for the inside of each one because I don't want to have to paint them. Each of these, if you've never done this before, I don't think it's going to be able to come on camera. It has a little arrow on the side, and the HitLights have a little arrow on the side. So you have to match up the arrows with each other so that way you know you got the right one. So obviously before we go too far with this, we want to make sure that the connection is all lined up and that the lights work. They do, and each one comes with these, it's pretty standard remotes. They come with, these are all the colors it comes with. Like, it's not too drastic. I mean, it's nothing crazy. There's better, I would say, light sources and stuff like that out there, but I like these because they're simple. They've always been easy to maneuver on where I need to go, and I can jump them without having to solder. For each of these connections on either end, I am going to put a little bit of electrical tape just because it's, why not? It's kind of one of those things, like, they're in there pretty good. It's not going to hurt. Kind of see how the finished product will look even with the milky white. The things stick out a little bit on the end. Not too bad. So this just gives you an idea of how they're going to look. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest in the exact same way. We are all wired up and ready to go. I got all the shelves wired, including the two fixed ones. And I went ahead and put each of the grommets in to the spots just to make them, and you can see the cords fit through very nicely. They hold them pretty snug, so hopefully that'll help with any kind of pulling in anything I initially do. So now I'm just going to put all the shelves into their spots, push the wires through the back, and then honestly very carefully flip this thing over so the shelves stay where they are without pulling on the wires too much. We have everything wired up, and I realized I was a little overzealous. I obviously don't need two on the top, but I'm going to wait to remove one until I know which one to remove. So the next step will be to wire up, to figure out where the beginning one is, and then honestly just wire everything out. We have an entry, we have an exit, and then we just have to connect the exit to the other entry, and it's really just kind of leapfrogging everything over. Again, it's really important that you get the arrows lined up, and then I am, again, going to use a piece of electrical tape just to make that connection a little bit more solid, because obviously these things are going to be behind a cabinet, I don't want to have to. I've had a couple times early on when I used the other HitLights in my Calax units. These connections would come loose, and the lights wouldn't come on, or one section would be out, and then you got to go back and figure out which connection is loose. It's a huge headache. So I learned from past Mike that just put a little bit of electrical tape is going to save me a whole lot of headache later on. So it does look like I was starting to wonder if I was going to need the jump point, but it looks like this is the middle shelf. This is a longer spot, and I don't want to stretch these cables too much, so we'll use one of the other pieces to connect those two spots. Not a small part of me that's sitting here wondering if I've done something wrong, and one of you have already seen it and are wondering, when is that moment going to be when I realize what I did wrong and I have to undo a large chunk of something. It happens, and not frequently, but it happens every now and then with projects that I do, where you realize you missed a step, or you did something that you could have done a little bit better. And with that in mind, I'm gonna plug this in and light it up just to make sure it is working up until this point. So I did the test. It works. I had a little bit of an issue because I did forget to put some electrical tape on one side, and that's the side that pulled out, and it was at the bottom. So it was the whole thing. But I got that back working, and I decided to stand this up because all the shelves kind of started to fall a little bit, and I didn't want anything to start pulling. Thought it would just be better to do it this way, and it's almost final position. It's all wired up now. Obviously, I don't need this one, so I'll remove that before I go. But also what I want to do is I just kind of want to tape these down a little bit so they're not kind of hanging out quite as much. Everything is wired. Honestly, the only thing that's left is connecting the Philips Hue smart plug to this. After this, I'm going to show you the final results. You'll notice the little bit of a surprise is, why do one when you can do two? After I built the first Billy, the thin one here, I had enough confidence to go ahead and build the second one, and went ahead and lit that about a week after I did the first one. First put the lights in the thin one and didn't have the lights in there. It just felt like it looked a little bit odd to me, so I went ahead and decided, I was like, let's go ahead and light this one up. I used the same HitLights, ordered all the pieces. We'll get a little bit closer and show you what they look like. Obviously at the bottom, unless you're down here, you can't even see the lights. That's why I went with white with the Billies, because it really reflects the light. Really, really nice. As I mentioned, each HitLight comes with this remote. You can change the color, even though you cannot see the cable in the back. This still works, so you can change it to whatever color you want. Obviously, they're on two different remotes because I have two different plugs. Now, I do have them set up into one Philips Hue smart remote. Apologies if I set anybody's system off, but hey Siri, turn off the steelbooks. Hey Siri, turn on the steelbooks. As you can see, they are wired into one power cord. See if I can show you here. I just put an extension cord on that Philips Hue plug, and they're both plugged into that extension. This is how it came out with the lights. A little bit of extra work to do the second bookcase, but I'm pretty tickled with how it came out. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on how you think this project came out. If you did not see the Billy bookcase video where I trimmed them to fit the space, you can check that one out right here. But I would really love to know, what's your favorite color to light up a space? Do you think this project was worthwhile? And if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. But most importantly, don't forget, collect what you love.